And you see, this is basically like almost just a copy of the piano thing we looked at earlier. Actually, I think it might just be a copy of the the piano thing earlier. I think I just like copy pasted it, and that was it. But what's going on in the background is what makes everything a little bit more interesting. Because even if I solo this and the strings, we can listen to what that sounds like. Because then we have the harmony and the melody. So this is really nothing special. I just have the string chords going the shortest way to the next chord, just as we've been looking at before, and that's it. And at the end, what's really making it a bit more interesting is that I'm introducing these high strings. This is just kind of a drone, like a high drone mixed with like an atmosphere. But what's really making this a bit more interesting is what's going on in the background. And that's what we're going to look at right now. So I'm going to take away these chords, I'm going to take away the main melody, and let's just listen to what's going on here. So by itself, this sounds a bit weird, like it's nothing too specific, but when you add everything together, these background kind of atmospheres really add a whole new sense of depth to the theme. So let me just open these kind of pads, and you'll see that most of them are just drones, just on C, which is the root note of this theme. I played everything in C/A minor, just to keep everything simple. So I'm just having some pads that are just staying on C, G, and C, which is the fifth and the octave, or the root, of the key we're playing in. Now, what you see is always also going on here is some extra little melodic things going on here that I just basically improvised based on the little subtle textures and flavors that I wanted into the background. Because if I take these away, you'll hear that it becomes a little bit more empty. Compared to this. So there's no real theory behind that. That was just me adding in some notes, playing on the keyboard in the background, just to add some textures I felt added something to the background ambience. Now, let's listen to some other interesting things that are going on here. For example, we have this Celtic harp that is doubling the melody, but I've been adding this little, let's open here, I've been adding this delay, this ping pong delay that makes it just bounce around. And I put some reverb on it. So it kind of adds this interesting little atmospheric effect to the melody itself. Let's just play that in piano. So the harp here, it adds this extra little flavor, this little round, warm addition to the melody that's also adding these echo effects that adds to the depth and the atmosphere of the theme. So before I get just lost in my own conversation, let's just quickly break down the different things again that we have here. We have the melody and the harmony in the piano and the harp. And then we have the strings that are just pretty much playing the chords. So nothing too crazy going on here. It's just some sustained chords. I literally just used like a sustain patch here. I didn't even write it out for each individual instrument because I didn't feel it was quite needed. I like the sound of the sustain patch because this is a patch I'm using a lot for these low-key textures, which is the trailer strings soft sustain patch. And it kind of just added this little cohesive, super mellow chords that I felt worked pretty well in this theme. So we have the chords, we have the melody and the root notes in the piano, and then in addition we have these pads. And the sub booms here, as usual in Gravity. And all together it sounds like this. Now, as you might have noticed, I also have these kind of moving, rhythmical little light thing that's bouncing around in the audio spectrum, and these are from Action Strikes, and I think they're just like bamboo sticks that are playing like ta 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 very quick. And what I've been doing is that, let's see if I can open this up here. I've been automating the volume, or no, actually it's not the volume, it's a filter. So what's going on is that first of all, I've been adding a little bit of an auto pan to it, so it's just automatically just bouncing around in the mix from left to right and back. Let's see if we can listen to it here. So it's moving back and forth. Now, what I also did was to add another one of those ping pong delays that kind of throws this delay thing around just all over the place. Kind of add some interest and some space and some movement into the mix. And what I did in addition is that I took this filter and I automated it. So I'm taking out the high end and introducing it back again. So it kind of creates this swelling effect. And it's like these small details that really makes things become a lot more interesting, especially when you're making these super simple things. Because here I literally just copied the piano into here, added some chord and strings, and that's it. Maybe added some pads in the background. And what's really making this more interesting is the fact that I added these evolving kind of sticks as well as these pads that are playing some extra notes to add some more spice into the soundscape. And the combined result is this. Alright, so that's that theme. Let's just recap quickly. We got the main melody and the chords in the piano, or the main melody and the root notes of the chords in the piano. Then we got the full chords just fleshed out in the strings based on just the basic chord voicing principles we've been looking at earlier in the course. Then we got a little melody doubling in the harp with some ping pong delay. We got some background pads, as we've been looking at in the atmospheres chapter, just on the roots, the fifth, and the octave above, as well as some just extra notes to add some more spice into the harmonies. And we got the sub booms like usual, and our little evolving stick thing that's just bouncing around the mix and adding some more depth and interest. And that's this orchestration. Now, we're just going to move on to the next video where I'm going to break down something a little bit more interesting, which is the string theme, where we have some nice little sexy woodwind runs up here. We got some string action over 3 octaves and some horns and a little bit of choirs and the entire shebang. So let's move over to that one, and I'll see you guys there.